You're listening to the Bearded Theologians podcast, hosted by Zach Bechtold and Matt Franks. If you'd like to learn more about the Bearded Theologians, you can go online at beardedtheologians.com, where we have past podcasts, blogs, and a couple items for sale. So check us out, beardedtheologians.com. Thank you for listening, and enjoy this week's show.
You're listening to the Bearded Theologians podcast, hosted by Matt Franks
and Zach Bechtold.
So it is December 27th, and we're entering into a new year in just a few days. And one of our kind of common yearly things now, getting ready to start year 7, is the joke of new year, new you. And so, Zach, as you think about that, what are some things that come up for you?
Well, I'm always intrigued by New Year's resolutions, and new year, new you seems to be the popular one. The meme that I've been seeing going around this week of everybody just quietly approach 2023. Let's not piss it off early. We've had a couple of years. Let's just let 2023 do its thing and be nice. And so, I'm always interested in the language in which we use and kind of how, self-help, self-improvement, I'm going to do better this year kind of language that I think we all lean into in 2023 or into a new year. And for me, it's always a reminder. I always have to remind myself that, the things that we've learned in the past, we can't drop, the end of December 31st and start with a blank slate January 1 as much as we would like to. And I think when we approach a new year in that way, we just set ourselves up for hurt. And so, like I said, maybe it's just me. But I'm trying to remind myself this year, instead of new year, new you, of leaning into more of what 2022, the last year, maybe even 2, have taught me about myself as a person, as a pastor, as an individual. But leaning into not what I didn't do this year. I didn't run as much as I wanted to and gained a little more weight than I wanted to, instead of approaching 2023 of I'm going to do more, I'm going to do better, I'm going to do this. Remembering the baby steps that it took to get there, and what are the joys and success and hopes and dreams, rather than self-improvement and self-help of just what can I carry through into this year that bring me joy, that bring me hope, and that make me laugh. God. Sometimes I need to remember to just take a seat and laugh. And so that's what I'm going to take into 2023. What about you, Matt? You're muted. Hey, it's 2023. You're muted.
New year, new hip.
That's fair. Quite literal.
Like literal. That's definitely the biggest thing I'm thinking about, for me anyways, of what's coming up with the surgery and then all the stuff that goes into that. As I think, I've never been one into New Year stuff. If I have, it's short-lived, like everybody else. And some of that is just because I feel like being on the journey that we're on, we are always in constant need of recalculating. And I've been thinking about this week as we get ready to preach on January the 1st. We're doing a Wesleyan Covenant renewal service, and one of the things that I'm thinking about, like literally the sermon title is "Time to Renew," and it's hard for me not to think of time to renew your car extended warranty. But I think that one of the things when I'm crafting this service, one of the things that we all want to do is talk about being on the journey, and that, this is just another turnover on a year. And it's really about how we live our journey from day to day and what we do to be faithful to Jesus. And if we can do that well, everything else will handle itself. And I really believe that. And I'm going to ask my people, and kind of ask you all today, is, how are you going to live faithfully in this coming year? And that's going to look different for everybody. But I think when we ask ourselves that question, we can find ourselves living in a way, one, that will probably draw us closer to Christ when we keep that at the center of our lives, but then also open us up for opportunities that we weren't aware of. And I think of the call of the disciples, could you imagine, like, I guarantee you that joining a band of men was not on Peter's to-do list to go and change the world. I don't think that was on his, moleskin for 2023 to write and journal about, because it's kind of one of those things, at least in my mind, is that when you let Jesus in, you never know where you're going to go. And that's kind of what I'm laying down this year, is just to be open to opportunity, open to new things, open to some renewal that I've kind of promised myself coming out to Colorado, and have slowly getting that. And then, in the process of that, getting a new hip. But I'm always reminded of a David Bowie, sometimes attributed to David Bowie quote. I've never looked this one up. I need to, just to make sure it's truly his. But Bowie says, I don't know where I'm going from here, but I promise it won't be boring. And I want to lean in a little bit more on that and just be open to opportunities that may arise without me being too ready or too excited for what may not come.
Sure.
So,
well, and that's the Wesleyan way, right? Is to see life and to see faith as a journey. And I think culturally and societally, I don't know that that's a word. Culturally, at the very least, we look at singular points in time or linear points in time rather than the fullness of the journey. And New Year's tends to be that of here's what we're going to do today, and then for the whole year we look back at that and go, oh crap, I failed, I didn't do the thing I said I was going to do, instead of saying, here's where life took me, here's where the journey took us today. And although it may not be where we thought we would have been a year ago, here we are today. And I think that's important. I think that's important to remember in our faith, in our day-to-day lives, and that it's not some point that we point back to that's very linear and very static. But that this life, it ebbs and flows, and certainly lives. And I think like you, I think I would say I'm going to give life room to breathe this year and see where it takes me.
Yeah, and I think that for our listeners this week, as you're listening to this, maybe as you're on your way home, or maybe as you're waiting to get on your plane because you were stuck, from wherever you are, be open to what you may get to experience in those moments, and not be too downtrodden on what's happening, but be open to what could be. And I think that as you reflect upon what you're going to do for this coming new year, just be open to the Spirit and see where it leads you. So for the Bearded Theologians, I'm Matt Franks.
I'm Zach Bechtold. Thanks for checking us out.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. New Year to you. Yay.
Guys, I want you to subscribe and like this video. And push that thumbs up.
Thank you for listening to the Bearded Theologians podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share on all social media outlets. You can check out old episodes and more information at beardedtheologians.com. Thanks for checking us out.